Hello, Transfer TCG fans. This is Grillenheimer. Welcome back. Thanks for being here. Haven't felt like I haven't done a video in a while. Kind of had I did one, and it took me a while to even do it. But I did sort of take last week off with my kids and stuff. Had a lot going on. In the meantime, let's go over. Gosh. Super quick as I can because I'm really just on a break right now for work. I need to get back at it. And these are cards all across about like 6 different of my files of just battle cards. It's almost really too much. Where you can either tap your enemy's cards, tap one of your own cards, or untap one of your own cards. And it's all these kind of mechanics that are going on in various ways. So let's get into it. Let's go as quick as we can because a few of these have had slight text tightening a little bit and maybe a few other things, but really not much. This is all kind of going to go up to Incredible Restraint, and it's just almost an overhaul, but really not. So let's go back to fall of 2021 and look at the cages. We have Energon Cage, which is a blue pip action card where you can tap an enemy character, but it has to be a 7-star Decepticon or less, and they have to be in bot mode. And then we also have I had everything here. Crazed Web Cage, which is a black pip action card that you can, which is tied to my decounter system. I did have this as 4, but it's 2. So let's look at it real quick. Play this only if you had a 12-star Decepticon leader on your starting team. So it could be a 12-star Megatron, and we have 1 or 2. At least it can be a greater than 12 stars. Okay. And they can be KO'd, but they just had to be on your starting team. Scrap 2 decounters off from your upgrades. So you can have 3 upgrades. You can have that counters all on them if you're playing in that direction. You can scrap 2 decounters off some of your upgrades. If you do, you can tap a 10-star or less enemy, which is about the highest you can go. Somewhat, let's just keep going with Crazed Web Cage. So the cages are allowing you in various ways and different setups to be able to tap an enemy character. So there is that. I had another one on here. Containment. That's right. Containment. It is a blank pip secret action, which is unusual. It's kind of strong. Maybe it warrants a star. I didn't give it a star, but we can if we need to. At the start of your opponent's turn, what do you do to start your turn? You normally draw a card. So at the start of your opponent's turn, and they have at least 2 characters untapped, this gets revealed. What happens when you reveal it? Choose a 7-star or less enemy. Your opponent cannot tap that character for attack. So, boy, we went from stormy, pouring weather to sunlight. And it was bad for 4.5 hours. So basically, you're able to, if they need to put some sort of a dice or a counter or something on or if you're actually playing face-to-face at an actual table, you can put the containment card in front of the character that you are wanting to say, hey, you cannot tap this character for attack. They're going to have to use somebody else. And then, and it's scrap it. It's just secret action. They can use it they can attack that character the next turn, whatever. That is containment. So let's keep going. We have the cages, we have that, and we also have, I don't think we ever went over that. So Runaway. Oh, that's right, the Bolo Attachment. The Bellow Attachment is not too dissimilar from the Oh, it's a spider web. The spider web hook. Let me pull them both up. Here's the spider web hook, and here's the Bolo Attachment. There. Okay. The Bellow Attachment is a utility. The spider web hook is a weapon. Neither one of them have attack or defense. Okay? It's basically for when you put them on. Now, the web hook has pierce too. Both of them are going to be when you put on a ranged character. So with the Bellow Attachment, and only ranged characters can get the Bellow Attachment on the flip for attack or defense. It is mainly a white pip card, white green, range for the green. So when you put it on a ranged character, tap an enemy 6 stars or less, then scrap this card. So, you know, if you're doing like combiner characters versus a combiner character, y'all are all pretty much going to be about 5 wide, or maybe 6 wide if you use the Constructicons. You're definitely going to have some ranged characters mixed in, because when you do a set like that, even my Spetabots, which if I can get around to it, I'd like to recolor them. I've recolored one half. That's it. I'm just working on other stuff. I'll tell you that in a minute. So you're going to be able to tap an enemy 6 stars or less. So, you know, y'all both can use this, but only the ranged characters are going to get that for when the Bolo Attachment is put on it. If you want to use this with Tripedicus to count as another card to be scrapped to try to build Tripedicus on his stratagem counter, go for it. That can work as well. Spider web hook gives Pierce 2 as a weapon, but it's not going to get scrapped like the Bolo Attachment, which is a little easier to use because it has the green pip for the ranged characters to get on the flip. Spider web hook is Pierce, but only for beast traded characters from either Wave 5 or anybody's homemade Beast War characters, whether it's mine or ATP, whoever. I don't think the ATP group is that big into Beast Wars, and I really don't like a lot of the artwork that I've seen out there. That's why I screenshotted the show. Spider web hook does give Pierce 2 to anybody that at least is wearing it, but when you put it on a ranged character, untap a character you control that has less stars than the equipped character. So if you have a high star, your highest star character being a ranged character, you'll be able, and you put this as a weapon on them. No, it's not a fusion bore by any means to get +3 to attack and 3 pierce. It's only 2 pierce, but you can untap one of your other characters that happens to be tapped. But you can't get this on the flip because it is a little easier to use, and it does have pierce. So there is that. No Mistakes is another one. I feel like, okay, yeah. Let's go to No Mistakes, which is kind of neat. Which I did this that sort of reminded me of Thrust, but I was also trying to go with this kind of image here with how Tarantulas kind of got into this mess. He got thrown into plasma, the volcano, and he lived to tell the tale, just like Megatron did, which made me think, and made all of us think, well then Pterosaur, and that the other two should come back even nuttier than normal, which was going to be written into the story eventually, but it got canceled, so we never saw him come back. But you may tap it. No Mistakes is a Black Pip's action where you can tap a 6-star or less character you control. So it's got to be a small starred character for the most part. Then add its total attack to your attacking character's total pierce for battle. So I think, for battle says what it needs to do, not till end of turn, but just for battle. That one battle pretty much. So instead of like Thrust, where you can tap another character to add its total attack to Thrust, No Mistakes is turning that total attack into pierce and adding more pierce to the attacking character. But you're also having to give up that tap for that character to do that. In the meantime, we also have Runaway, which is a secret action that is black and green. So you can get this on the flip, which can actually help you undo no mistakes. Maybe it was a mistake. No. Reveal when one of your tapped characters defends and you have another character tapped. So basically, you have at least 2 characters tapped. You're being attacked. You get to flip this and flip Runaway. Well, what happens? Scrap. KO 2 cards from your hand and untap the defender. This is no Mother May I. But if you don't have the cards to KO, you can't do it now, can you? But if it's a nice secret action you can get on the flip, even if you don't have the cards to KO to be able to untap the character. But here's the rub, is that KO 2 cards from your hand and untap the defender. So you have at least 2 characters tapped. They've named the defender. They're going into that when Runaway gets revealed. You untap that on the defender. Well, now it's not a tapped character, so technically they can't go into it anymore despite it's named. So now you're forcing them to go into the tapped character or tapped characters that are left. So that's the idea. It's kind of like stealth, but it's not stealth because you're actually getting them completely untapped. And because of the nature of the game, they're going to have to name another defender. And if you only have one other character tapped, that's all they can who all they can go to. Despite they said, I want to go into Bumblebee, Runaway. Nope, untapping Bumblebee. You have to go into Sideswipe, Ratchet, Optimus, whoever. So there's that idea there, which I think works. Let me know if this is okay. But you are having to build up cards in your KO, which is in that original file where I had all this. If you remember, I have revealed all these cards before. So these are really no big secret. Just want to go over these real quick, and 12 minutes hasn't been too bad. So let's look at the... Yeah. I might have had 1 or 2 others in here, but let's just go on to Incredible Restraint. And yeah, we already looked at spot, which a lot of these dealing with untapping and tapping characters and enemy characters have been white or black pips for the most part. That one spider web hook is a black pip for beast traded characters. Right? Yes. So Incredible Restraint is white and black. It's a star card. If you haven't noticed, it's a weapon armor upgrade. So it's going to cover those 2 slots. So it does give +2 to attack and +2 to defense to make up for taking up 2 slots on your character. It has the star mainly for the ability, not so much the white and black pip, because that's really, it might give you, well, we know what the pips do. So when the equipped character taps to attack, tap another character on your team and tap an untapped enemy character that has the same number or fewer stars as one of your highest starred characters or highest star of the 2 tapped characters. I got really lucky and pulled... This works again. 6-star Beachcomber, 5-star Red Heat. This is just an example, guys. I just pulled these out. So if Beachcomber has Incredible Restraint, you tap him for attack. I can also tap Red Heat. Now, if you happen to have a untapped character that's at least 6 stars or less because of Beachcomber's star count, I can tap them. So it's not a bad tapping card. If they're 2 tall or 3 tall, they may not have a character small starred enough to be able to do that. But it's a nice star card to be able to get 2 to attack, 2 to defense in the white and black pip for the flip for one of your 9 whites if you want to do that. So there is that idea there. Okay, now let's look at three other cards real quick that have nothing to. Might be new, might be not. I've tried recording so many videos, I don't know what I've gone over anymore. So let's look at the Wrecker Blaster, which is an upgrade weapon with Bold 2 that is blue and green. The green is for your Wreckers only. So it is a nice Wrecker faction card. No, it's not, because it's a trait. So it's not a faction card. No wonder. So it's a D-counter card. D-counter upgrade. Not an artifact, just a weapon that gives Bolt 2. D-counters on this each add Pierce 1. So you get your D-counters up here with a maximum of 2. So after this is attacked with a maximum of at least 2 D-counters on this, scrap this card. So you can only get Bold 2 and Pierce 2 off this. It's not bad, Pierce and Bold, which is unusual. You don't see that very often. In the meantime, the equipped character has the Wrecker trait. We don't have many cards that do that, which, especially if you're playing with some of the new things that the ARC has brought out to help give some fun with Wreckers. If you want to add in another character that's not a Wrecker, you can use the Wrecker Blaster. See, we're putting all this together. I think this all works. But if it gets, vaporized or knocked off or whatever, from a secret action, whatever's going on in the game, then they're no longer a Wrecker. Okay, but you definitely want the Wrecker Blaster in with the deck, with even if you don't want to use the D-counters mess, even if you don't want to deal with D-counter stuff and Mega Charge and counter plan and all that, you could at least change a character to a Wrecker and give them Bold 2. You're welcome. So and your other Wreckers can get this on the flip for you, to be able to put it on another character to make it a Wrecker. What about that? That's why the green pip is there, to help you get it while battling with another Wrecker character on your team. So there is that. Now I think, like I said, I feel like I've gone over some of this stuff so many times. I even recorded this a couple of times today. Went 30 minutes on one. I'm like, I got to get back to work. 2, I can't do this for this long. So Turkey is a blank action card when your attacker is one of 3, or maybe I should say at least 3 characters with the same trait. So they can be ranged. They can be Autobot, Decepticon, and Quintesson. As long as they're all ranged characters, Turkey's going to work. It has Bold 1 for its utility on the 3 characters with the same trait. So this is sort of utilizing the Omnibots sort of ability that the Omnibots kind of were going with anybody with 3 identical traits. Could you put this on, use this with Omnibots even? Yeah, as long as they have that the same trait up there, and I think Omnibot is a trait. Boom, Turkey. Why is it called Turkey? Because I was thinking of bowling when I took screenshotted this, the rail car characters from Car Robots 2000, Red, whatever you want to call it, and put it on here. It was all 3 of them. They were about to combine, and I'm thinking, well, that's kind of cool, and I like that. And for some reason, it came into my head, 3 strikes makes a turkey in bowling, and I'm not a great bowler, average maybe 120 or something like that. My cousin is better. He's gotten bowled 300s, but and it's something about the 3 combiners making into 3 into 1 here. It just popped in there like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So this is called Turkey for what it is, but it's kind of using the Omnibot kind of ability for any characters that have 3 traits that match up. make sure you get some utilities, whether they're, the king utility here or anybody else's or official. Play this as your action and get some extra bold in for turn. So I really kind of like that. And then the other one, I don't think I've gone over either, is the Truce Is Over, which is a white pip secret action. When your opponent plays a secret action, your opponent scraps their secret action. So it's basically a secret action canceling out another player's secret action. And so, but it just goes without saying, if this is in play and your opponent plays a secret action, you flip it over and it's like, sorry. And because they've played it, they can't play anything else. It gets scrapped. So now all they have left is to play an upgrade or their zone battlefield card, however you're playing, especially in casual setting, etc., etc. So that's just really all I had time to go over. 21 minutes, not too bad. Went over a whole lot of tapping ability kind of cards, which people on Facebook are, oh, that's just a no. Everything needs a star. So, sorry, I can't help myself sometimes. But a couple of cards that I don't think I've gone over, as well as upgrading Incredible Restraint, because it was just full of typos. There was 3 P's and equipped and 2 periods at the end of one of the sentences. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And it was wasn't written, just didn't quite make much sense. So I really needed to tighten up the text there. And so we went over plenty, from the spider web hook to Energon Cage, Crazed Web Cage, the, like I said, Incredible Restraint, No Mistakes, Runaway, etc., as well as a couple of possibly 3 new cards: Turkey, the Truce Is Over, and Wrecker Blaster. And let's look at one more. I don't think we've looked at the Untime Machine, which is an image from Cyberverse. I was trying to get it to screenshot where it was actually making the dome, because it makes this dome, and I can't remember if that fixed them from being able to move or it actually made them, I can't remember. Anyway, it's a hybrid pip card that's white and black. The hybrid pip colors I like making to have kind of something doubly 2 triggers kind of going on, or 2 something happening going on. So it's does give +1 for defense for utility. It is a utility card with a hybrid when the equipped character battles. So you put the utility on, I don't know, I'm Megatron, just picking somebody. If that Megatron attacks or is defending, each player scraps the last 2 cards flipped for battle and flips 2 more. So basically, let's say you do at the beginning of the game, you don't have bold, you don't have tough. Your Megatron is attacking one of their characters. You flip 2 for battle. They flip 2 for battle. Scrap it. Do it again. That's what you get. You don't get your first, you do it again. So that is the Untime Machine. So you may have had an orange and a double orange, or an orange black and a double orange, and they may have had a lot of blue or something on their defense. Well, the Untime Machine, scrap it, do it again. 2 cards. If you have some bold and you say you're attacking, well, forget that. Let's say you're defending and you have tough 3, so you get to flip for battle 5 cards. Scrap the last 2, do 2 more at the very end to make sure you have your 5 cards. So you're basically taking away the last 2 cards, however many cards you're flipping for battle, and if you only flip 2, you scrap the 2 you flipped and then flip again, basically. Because when I saw this in the show, I'm like, this is really cool. And I think they even called it the Untime Machine. I'm not sure about that. So I really wanted to work this in the card game in some way, and I think this works. So you might have a great flip, and then you may have to not get a good flip after that. So it's a kind of a gamble when it comes to a lot of these cards that I create. It's a gamble, let me tell you, which is just really trying to mix things up. Do I want this? Do I want that? Let me just use a Wizards card or an ATB card or an art card. This stuff is just too, I don't know. I don't know what this guy's doing. Fine, whatever. But it might be, in casual game, it might be kind of fun because you don't know what's going to happen. And when you have this many cards, you may be thinking, well, gee, I've got a lot of this and I only have 40 cards that I want to make a deck out of. Let me add 20 more. Let's do a 60 card deck and see what happens. And then you might want to add in some of these cards and some D upgrades and the D counters and the actions and the secret actions to get things going to see what else could happen. It may make the game a little longer, but it might make it maybe a little more fun. I don't know. Try it out. See what you think. I think some of this stuff is really neat. From a lot of, I'm just going with a lot of different ideas here in the Untime Machine. If you notice, the symbol is from my Overlord Cannon file. So that's all I have time for. I got to get back to work. I want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for following. As always, have a blessed day.
Hey, this is Swindle. Hey, Megatron, why don't we just run away and come back and fight another day? Yeah.